All right, everyone, welcome back to this lecture. We're going to go over variables again, a little bit deeper in some cases. In the previous lecture, we did have a look at them, but in this lecture, we will be diving a little bit deeper, and then we'll also be looking at data structures. Cool. Okay, let's get started. The first code snippet here that we have is the main function, and then we also have this immutable variable here, val. So you might remember this from the previous lecture. So in this code snippet we have the main function, fun, short for function, main, okay, the main function. So this is the entry point of the Kotlin program, right? Then we have an immutable variable, so we have the val. So this means it can't be changed once it's been assigned. Here we have the val, we have name, and it is, the data type is string, so that means text. And over here we just assigned in quotation marks a piece of text here, so that would be the name. In this case it's Alice. In the next line we have print ln, print line, and we're just going to go ahead and print that variable. So we're going to print name, and the output here would be Alice. Okay, so the important things here to remember are main function. This will be where the Kotlin program starts. And also immutable variable. So val cannot be changed once assigned. If you remember the previous lecture, we had var, short for variable, and then val. Okay, val is immutable and it can't be changed, and var is mutable, so it can be changed. Right, all right, let's move on to the next piece of code. All right, so here we will just be going over var. So as I mentioned before, we have immutable variable val, and then we have the mutable variable var. So this can be changed after assignment. So here we've just said var, we've named it age, we've assigned a data type to it. In this case, it's int, short for integer, that means numbers. So we're just going to put here 25, so age is 25. Then we're going to print the age, so the output here would be 25. But afterwards, if you want to go over at any point in the code and you just want to go ahead and change the variable, we're just going to assign, for example, 26. It could be anything here, any number, any integer. Then it would change the variable to hold this value of 26. And afterwards, it would print 26. So the output would be 26. I hope this makes sense. Feel free to play around with this. I have put the code snippets in the notes section below. All right, let's move on to the next code snippet. All right, so next we'll be going over some variables where we have declared them with specific data types. Now, some of these we went over in the previous lecture, but here we just have a few more that are pretty common in Kotlin, so I just want to go over those, okay? So first, we have these immutable variables, right? We have vals here. They've all been named. The first one we named pi, and we assigned double to it. And that is for decimal numbers, okay? So a double is a number with a decimal point that can be very precise. So here, for example, with precise, we just mean, for example, 3.14159. So it's very precise, right? Next one, we have val, we've named it e, we've assigned float to it. So this float is similar to double, but it's a little bit less precise, right? Next, we have this large number. We've assigned long to it, and that is a large whole number. So here you can see that it's pretty long. It's more of a long integer. So long is for large whole numbers. Next we have number, so is assigned int to it. Int means integer, right? 42. This is just a regular whole number. Next we have small number, we assigned short to it. This is a smaller whole number. It's just for an example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can call it like a short integer. Next we have byte, and we basically just would describe that as a very small whole number. So for example, 127. So these are some of the most common data types that you use to declare variables. And I hope this cleared it up. And let's move on to the next section. All right, so the next topic is characters and strings. So what we have here first is a character. So we just put here char, and we typed in A. So a character represents a single character like a letter or a symbol. Next, we have strings. This should be pretty familiar to us now. So it's a sequence of characters like a word or a sentence. So for example, hello Kotlin. And here below, we just have an example on how to print these. So we put print ln, brackets, remember to close them. We have quotation marks, letter, and then we have a $sign, letter, and you can see it highlights here the letter. Okay, so it would print, instead of this $sign letter, it would print A, which is the character that we assigned to this variable. And the $sign just means that it will be a placeholder for that. Next, we have println greeting, $sign greeting. So this is just a placeholder for the string here, hello Kotlin, that we've stored inside this variable greeting. $sign, variable name, and it will print out greeting, hello Kotlin. All right, I hope that makes sense. And again, feel free to play around with this in your own IntelliJ. All right, up next we have booleans and arrays. So firstly, let's go over booleans. So here we have a variable. We've named it is Kotlin fun. We've assigned value boolean, this data type boolean to it, and that is true. So a boolean is just a value where it can be either true or false. Okay, so in this case it's true. We could also put here false, right? And again here we have println, print line, is Kotlin fun, $sign, variable name. Here we have is Kotlin fun. We've just put it here as well, and that it will print is Kotlin fun, false, right? Next we have arrays. So here we have the variable name numbers array, and we've just assigned the type array to it. So an array is a collection of elements of the same type stored together. You can think of it as a list, right? So here we have an array of numbers because we put int here, and int is integer, right? Equals array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this will create an array of numbers from 1 to 5. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Here we print line, we print numbers array, is $sign, variable name, and yeah, it will just print this out. All right, next we have an array list. So this is a list of elements. An array list is a flexible list that can change size, meaning you can add or remove items. So here we have a list of strings, so text, and we have Kotlin, for example, Java, Python, And here we've just added C++ to the list, right? And here we create a list with 3 programming languages, and then we add C++ to the list. And here, when you print the list, you are printing dollars on mutable list. So you're going to print this list, Kotlin, Java, Python, but here you've added C++, so it would be added here to the end. I recommend that you actually run this code in your IntelliJ and just play around with this if it wasn't clear to you from this explanation. But this is just a list of elements. Okay? Next, we have sets. So we have a set of elements. Here we have a hash set. A hash set is a collection that contains unique elements. So that means that there is no duplicates there, right? So every single item here is unique. We have Kotlin, Java, Python. Again, we're adding C++. But the difference here is that it is only unique elements. So there's no repetition there. It can't be Kotlin, 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 Java, Java, Java. No. So everything has to be unique. Right. Next, we have maps. We have this hash map. It's a map of key value pairs, right? Just gonna move this up for us. You can maybe see it a little bit better. We have this mutable map, and it is a collection of key value pairs, like a dictionary. So here we have this variable val, that's immutable. We have a mutable map. We've named it hash map, right? It contains strings, so text, and numbers, so integers. We have 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, and 4 to 4, right? So this is a collection of key value pairs, like a dictionary. So for example, you can connect a word, and that would be a key, to a number, which would be a value. So that would be a key value pair. So the word 1 is a key to the value of 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, and 4 to 4. Here we've just added 4. This is a key value pair 4. The value of 4 we've assigned, we've added, this is the key, this is the value. So we're adding this key value pair to this map. I hope this has provided a simplified understanding of each of these code sections. And I hope that you continue to play around with this as well in your IntelliJ. Just remember, these code snippets are in the notes section below this lecture, and you can just copy them from there. Okay, make some changes, see what's happening, run the code locally, and just have fun with it. All right, guys. Now, this is it for this lecture. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Please feel free to take a break, maybe stretch out a little bit, maybe go for a little bit of a walk if it's nice weather outside. If it's still, evening or daytime, maybe even in the morning, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, have a cup of hot chocolate. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much for joining me.